Welcome to my channel. I really appreciate every single person that comes to my channel, that watches my videos, that subscribes to my videos, that comments on my videos, that shares my videos, and that likes my videos. I really can't thank you enough. It's amazing how many people want to see this, what I have to say, and see the things that I talk about. And I'm just extremely grateful. I want to talk about the Colorado football game today, the UCLA Colorado game, but more broadly about Colorado itself and what's going on with the team. And what I want to do is I want to start by looking at some stats that I have put together. And this is based on the stats that are available on ESPN. But I've laid them out because there are some points that I want to make. First of all, if you look at the top here, I have listed all the people that have had running plays, that have been involved in running plays in all of their games. This is the total for all their games. And you notice down here I have totals without pass and totals with pass. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to break down the difference between actual called running plays and pass plays that turn into running plays because the quarterback is either running for his life or he can't find someone to throw the ball to, and so he takes off and runs. If you look at the totals without the pass, you can see under yards per carry that the runners, not including the quarterbacks, are averaging 4.25 yards per carry. That's excellent. That means in 2 plays, theoretically, you're going to gain 8.5 yards. That leaves you with 1.5 yards to get a first down. Okay? So there's absolutely nothing wrong with Colorado's running game. If you look at it with the passes, though, their average is 2.54, and that's why everybody's saying they can't run the ball. The truth is they can run the ball. The fact is they're not running the ball, okay? If you look at the games and you look down here at the totals, you can see that they have 165 carries, that's running plays, and 435 pass attempts. Now, you have to understand what I'm doing here is I'm adding in the quarterback's running plays to their pass attempts because they're not really running plays. They're pass attempts that broke down. They're failed pass attempts, okay? So 165 running plays in 8 games and 435 passing plays. If you look over here to the right under run-pass ratio, you will see that they're averaging 72.5% of the time they pass. 72.5% of the time they're passing the ball, or they're attempting to pass the ball. Now, if I am a defensive coordinator and I am looking at their tendencies and looking at what this team is doing, what do you think I'm going to tell my line, my defensive line? What do you think I'm going to tell my whole defense? They're not going to run the ball. Just pass rush constantly. If they actually do try to run the ball, we'll stop it with our linebackers. That's what, as a defensive coordinator, I'm telling my team to do. Because Colorado is telling you they are not going to run the ball. They're just not. It's ridiculous to me. And I've thought a lot about this. I really have. And I'll tell you who I blame. I blame Deion Sanders. I know that there's a lot of people are really hot about the defense and hot about the offense. They want both Charles Kelly on the defense and Sean Lewis on the offense fired for their lousy performance. But come on. If you look down here at the Kent State 2022 numbers, They averaged passing 52.28% of the time in 2022. In other words, they had a balanced attack. Colorado obviously doesn't have a balanced attack. What's the difference? It ain't Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis knows what a balanced attack is. He proved that last year. It's Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders has to be the one who's telling them, I want you to pass the ball most of the time. I mean, there are 8 games in. You can't get away from the fact that they're not running the ball. The best game they had running the ball was against USC. And there they passed 65% of the time. 65%. The UCLA game, 83.5% of the time they were attempting a pass. Well, what do you think is going to happen when 83% of the time you're trying to pass the ball? The other team's going to tee off on you. And I'm going to show you that when we look at the actual plays. We're going to take a look at some plays that took place during this game. Okay? And we're going to discuss them. And you're going to see what's wrong with this team. Now, can I move this over any? I guess not. Okay, so here's the first play I'm going to show you. This is a sack. Okay? We're going to play it through.
Here, he comes inside and gets the pressure. And watch him hesitant initially.
Bam. Okay, now, let's go back to the beginning, and let's look at what happened on this play. We're going to take it very slowly. They're showing how the guy rushed, but watch what happens here. Okay, stop it right there. Here's your 5-man front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's your defensive line. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a guy off the screen here. That's 5. So it's 5 on 5. Each offensive lineman has to take a blocker, has to block a rusher. Okay? But what happens? Well, let's look right here. Okay. What is this guy, number 72, Landon Beebe, what on earth is he doing? This is Savion Washington. He's got the outside rusher. Landon Beebe's got the inside rusher. And yet, for some reason, he's stepping to the right. Why is he stepping to the right? Look at him. He's got a man right beside him, Savion Washington. So this rusher here, this guy, cannot go this way, cannot go to the outside. He's just going to run into Savion Washington. So why is Landon Beebe stepping to the outside? He is automatically disadvantaging himself against an inside rush. And what's the one rush that can get to the passer the fastest? An inside rush. So Landon Beebe starts out by taking the wrong position and then one step in the guys around him. And that's it. It's over. Okay? It is over.
And watch him hesitant initially. I mean, these guys have heard all great block.
Shedeur never had a chance. He never had a chance. He couldn't even get his feet set before he had to start running. Okay? Here's another one.
In front of him from those wide receivers
Watch
on the
this
edge.
one.
Sanders.
Oh, look, that's not a sack. He completes the pass, but barely. And look at the guy who's on him. Now let's go back again and look at this one. All right. Take it very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we have a 5-man line. 5 men on the defense, 5 men on the offense. That's one-on-one matchups. Each offensive lineman has to beat his man, and each defensive lineman has to beat his man. So what happens? Well, again, this time it's Savion Washington, but why is he moving to the inside instead of outside? He's got the outside man, but he's moving inside. See him move to the right, to the left? And then the guy just goes past him. And Savion's taking on the next guy on the line. Why? What on earth is he thinking? Now, I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about football that I don't understand about it that can explain it, but it doesn't make any sense to me. The linemen are moving in the wrong direction. Now, whether that's a coaching failure or that's just a player failure, they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing, I don't know. But, players, if they're being coached correctly, they should understand what they're supposed to be doing, unless they're just dumb or they're not paying any attention, they're not watching film, they're not learning their position. And I think that's at least part of the problem, is these players are not spending time in the film room. They're not taking the time to learn what they're supposed to be doing. And so they're failing. They're absolutely failing. Savion Washington was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. I wouldn't rate him as a 3-star now. I'd say he's a failure. And everybody thought he was going to be the salvation of the line this week. They were all going, oh, Savion will be back. Everything will be fine. No, obviously not. Okay, now, this is the first field goal, and I want you to look at this because this is mind-boggling to me. This is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Look at this. Stop it right there. Who is this guy blocking? Who is he blocking? Because he's certainly not blocking the rusher. The guy's coming through the line untouched. This is amazing to me. He is, this is my opinion now, okay? But I think this guy was so shocked that he got past untouched that he just ran right past the play. And the funny thing is, this other guy, the outside rusher, is so convinced that the punt's going to be blocked that he stops rushing. he just completely stops. But look, the guy runs right past the kick, and bam, they make the field goal. I mean, first of all, it's kind of hilarious to me that UCLA didn't manage to block that. That's, I don't know what's going on with them, but what in the hell is wrong with this line? What is wrong with these guys? Why are you not blocking that rusher right there? Why is he able to run right past you untouched? Who are you blocking? There's no one there to block. You're just standing there. I mean, I would take that guy off the field and I would tell him, you're not playing special teams anymore because you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. It just, I don't know. The players on this team are just not playing well. Here's a second field goal. This one has a little bit better outcome, but look at it. Look at it. That guy almost made it in. Okay? I mean, look at this blocker on the right-hand side. He gets an arm out. An arm. You can't step out in front of that guy and impede his path? Better than that? Come on. What? They're just not, they're not doing the job. The players are not doing the job. It's that simple. And whether it's coaching or it's just motivation or the players just don't have the skill, I don't know. I'm just not intelligent enough about football to know the answer to that, but I do know that these guys are not playing the positions the way they should be. They're not blocking properly. They're not seeing the scheme that's coming at them and saying, okay, I need to take this guy. They're just not. Now, on this play, the only thing I want you to see, this was a successful pass play on the part of UCLA. They made, I think, about 15 or 20 yards on the play. But you notice over here on the left of the screen, you see two Colorado players, both pointing towards the bench. Why are they pointing towards the bench? Well, let's count the men on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Both of these guys recognize, hey, we've only got 10 players on the field. And so they signal the bench, and the bench doesn't call timeout. That's a coaching failure, plain and simple. That is a coaching failure. Coaches are supposed to know how many players they have on the field. They're supposed to know who is supposed to be on the field, and they're supposed to be able to tell when they don't have enough players on the field and call timeout. So that's a coaching failure. Now, fortunately, they didn't score a touchdown in this play, but I mean, that's clearly a coaching failure. Whoever's responsible for counting the number of players on the field and making sure they have their full complement of 11 players failed, period. They just failed. Okay? Now, this is another sack, and I want you to watch this sack. Right now you can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys rushing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys blocking. So you have a one-on-one situation again. It's up to the blockers to take their man. All right? The tackle should take this outside defensive end. The guard should take the next guy. The center should take the guy in the middle. This guard should take this guy on the left, and this tackle should take the guy on the far left. And that tackle is Savion Washington. Watch what happens.
For everybody, somebody you feel is
total,
going to win,
absolute whiff.
Nothing is
whiff. Look at this. I mean, what on earth? This is what you call a block? Seriously? This is what in the world? This is just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Look at him. Look at him. He's got, his feet are close together. Okay? So he's easy to knock over. And all he's going to do is put one hand on the guy. One hand. And it's on his back. He doesn't even get on the front of the guy. I mean, that is horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. What is the matter with him? He ain't no 5-star, that's for dang sure. Now, let's look at the last play. This is another sack.
Sanders on third down.
Totally overwhelmed. Look at him. Just overwhelmed. All right. Let's go back and look at the beginning of that play. All right. Here we are. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man rush, 5-man line, one-on-one. That's how simple it is. And look what happens. First of all, the offensive line just collapses. They just collapse. Secondly, what is the offensive guard doing here? He's double teaming. Oh, no, he's not. Okay, he's not. He's taking his man. The center is taking on 2 guys. Can't do that. No way can you do that. Okay? I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. And Savion Washington gets beat again. Look at him. Just totally beat. It's like the guys from UCLA had to be going, oh man, this is so much fun. I'm really enjoying myself. When you have this kind of line play, your quarterback's going to be the most sacked quarterback in the league. It's just that simple. And he is. He's the most sacked quarterback in the NCAA. He was running for his life all night. He was getting absolutely pummeled by the defensive line. And that brings up another thing that I want to talk about. And we're going to go back to the stats because I want you to understand who Shedeur Sanders is and what this guy is doing. Shedeur Sanders has, and now these numbers here, this number here is Shedeur Sanders' actual pass attempts based on the statistics that ESPN is keeping. So it does not include his running plays, okay? With the run, he has 432 pass attempts, but without the run, he has 346, okay? 246 completions for 2,637 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Quarterback rating is 154.4. He's been sacked 41 times. 41 times in 8 games. That's an average of 5 sacks a game. His performance is astounding to me. Absolutely astounding. Despite being harassed and harried and sacked constantly, this guy is playing at an elite level. 22 touchdowns, 71.1% completion rate. There are a lot of teams that would love to have a quarterback with that completion percentage, and that's with him being harassed and sacked constantly. Sanders is probably, in my estimation, the best quarterback in the NCAA right now, by far. No other quarterback has to endure what he has to endure. And yet, he's completing passes at a high percentage rate. He's got excellent yardage. I think, let's see, somewhere in here I have the projected totals. I project them to have a total of 4,525 yards passing by the end of the year at their present rate. Okay? 4,525 yards when he's being harassed constantly. That is astounding. How many quarterbacks pass for 4,500 yards in a season? Not very many. And look at the rushing totals. I project they will have a total rushing yardage of 1,177 yards. That is pitiful. That is absolutely pitiful. And the reason why it is because they're passing the ball 72.5% of the time. It's just ridiculous. I'll put it to you like this. If they don't get more balance between rushing and passing in their next games, they cannot win. They absolutely cannot win those games. They have got to pass more, plain and simple. There's no question about it. There's no question in my mind. I'm not a football expert, but I can tell you that. If they don't run the ball more, they are not going to win any games. If they start running the ball half of the time, they have a chance, because then the other defense can't tee off and go after Sanders on every play. They start out every game by passing, and then they sprinkle in a run here and there. It's ridiculous. They need to start out the games by rushing. The very first play of every game needs to be a rush to tell the other team, hey, we ain't going to pass all the time. If they would just do that, they'd have a lot more success than they're having now. And that goes to the coaches. That goes to Deion Sanders. Sanders is the one who's telling Sean Lewis, I want you to pass the ball a lot. And I don't understand that, because his son is getting killed out there. You would think he would care about his son. But for some reason, Dion thinks they should be passing 72.5% of the time. 83% of the time in this last game, which was ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. I really don't have any faith at all that Colorado can win another game. I don't. Unless they drastically change their offensive philosophy. That's my take on it. If you have a different take, go ahead and say something in the comments. I just think their season is over unless they change the way they're playing ball. As always, I pray that you will be abundant, that you will live a long life, and that you'll be healthy, and that God will keep you safe. I pray that He'll do the same for every single person that you love. And I pray that you will be anxious for nothing, but in all things, through prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, you'll make your request known to God. And the peace that passes all understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. This is the Vietnam Era Vet out.